the fight for Michigan. So real quick to our viewers and subscribers, March 10th will be the primary, will be a Super Tuesday primary. Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, and Washington State. Michigan having 125 delegates will be a prime state for Bernie Sanders to make his comeback. So here's the issue. Right now, it is going to be an uphill fight for the candidates to secure not only the delegates, but it's a toe-to-toe slug match, and Bernie Sanders has got a lot to fight for over there. Already, as it stands right now, Biden has several high-profile Michigan figures, including Governor Gretchen Whitmer, former Governor Jennifer Granholm, and Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan. And so they're all, and also Biden got the endorsement of Detroit Free Press and Detroit News. So already, right off the bat, most of the establishment in Michigan, especially amongst the Democrats and the press, are endorsing Biden. All the while, Bernie Sanders, we have to remember, in 2016, did win the Michigan primary.
By like 18 points. Like,
yes.
Major landslide.
The thing is, there's 125 delegates, and if Bernie Sanders is successful in securing the state of Michigan, personally, I like his campaign to get above 50% in that state.
If he wins it, he's going to, by definition, get about 50%.
I know. But nonetheless, I mean, he's got to get the majority of the votes there. And the thing is, this is a time where Bernie Sanders really has to swing hard because the state of Michigan has a lot of issues, most notably the lack of clean drinking water. Under Obama's administration, Obama and Vice President Joe Biden turned a blind eye to what was happening there in Flint, Michigan. Never once did their administration really address what's happening to the working class families in that neighborhood. They still lack clean drinking water. This is disgusting. And all of a sudden now everyone's on this Biden surge, this Joe-mentum, as they're calling it. They might as well call it Joe Mania or something, or Joe Dementia or something, because it's ridiculous that everyone's forgetting what's happening to the working class communities. And the thing is, it's more than just Flint, Michigan. There are other communities in the state of Michigan that lack clean drinking water, that have also lead and other contaminants in there. Paul.
So I wanted to call attention to a couple of other Michigan-centric concerns. I'm a Michigander, representing my M22.
I'm tasking you to call 10 people now.
So Bernie spoke in Detroit, I believe earlier today. I believe he's speaking at Michigan State University tomorrow. It might even be this evening. I could be getting that wrong. But multiple speaking engagements in Michigan. Major issues for Michiganders, of course, include things like the Flint water crisis, but also oil and oil pipelines. So Line 5 is an oil pipeline that goes underneath the Mackinac Bridge. Mackinac Bridge sees more water flow underneath it per minute than Niagara Falls does. If that pipeline bursts, you're talking about contaminating almost a quarter of Earth's fresh water with crude oil. Not to mention that it's operated by the same company, Enbridge, which was responsible for what I believe is still the largest oil spill within the continental United States, and that was the Kalamazoo River oil spill. And that was just a handful of years ago, and cleanup efforts are still slowly but surely underway. So oil pipelines, oil drilling, those are major concerns for Michiganders, in addition to water infrastructure for places like Flint. Now, Michigan is an interesting state in that a lot of the western part of the state tends to skew conservative, a little bit more Republican. There's a very large evangelical Christian population on the west side of the state that tends to lean that direction. Mm-hmm. But amongst the sort of more democratic leaning voters in Michigan, of which it is very much a purple state. It sometimes goes red, sometimes goes blue. Ann Arbor is basically ground zero for progressive leftism within the state of Michigan. So the U of M campus is very much part of that. And that area of southern central Michigan is very left-leaning. So that stands to reason that speaking at Michigan State University, which is in East Lansing, not very far from Ann Arbor. If you didn't know that, University of Michigan and Michigan State University are very close to one another. I don't know. I have a lot of friends in Michigan. I have family in Michigan. Guys got to get out there and vote. You guys got to get Bernie Sanders in there. I know it's interesting. This is just a funny anecdotal story, actually. In the previous election, my mom is very left-leaning. My father is very conservative-leaning. They both disliked Hillary. They both disliked Trump. My father voted for Gary Johnson in the general election. My mother voted for Jill Stein in the general election.
Huh.
This year, both of my parents voted in the Democratic primary. They both voted for Bernie. They voted early because they're out of the country right now, so they voted absentee.
Okay, that's 2 of the 10. Go ahead.
So we got 2 of the 10, right? Working on it, getting there. All right, Michigan, got to show up and vote for Bernie.